What the hell's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about my third quarter of 2017 performance. So let's just get right into it. So currently, what I have invested, you guys can check it out in this fancy table I got here. My non-401k 401k accounts, so my Roth IRA, my individual brokerage account, whatnot. It's up to just over six figures at this point. I'm missing some things here, so I have to work on this code or whatnot to get all my percentages to work out. But very small amount of it is in cash. I've started to sell some items that have really not been doing too well for me, like Skywork Solutions I sold, and Suncor Energy I also sold. They were just kind of lagging behind, not really moving around, so I figured uh, while the market is a little bit high right now, in my opinion, in terms of an earnings price to earnings ratio, compared to historical averages. I figured I'd take some money off the table, although not too much is being taken off the table. But this will be combined with additional income in the coming months with bonuses, and also have some money that I've been saving in my savings account, which my high percentage savings account with American Express, which will probably end up moving over in the coming months or so. So that cash number will probably get a little bit higher. But the way I like to look at it is mostly like this. I won't go to the stock weight by portfolio because that's generally too many dang colors. But you can probably check pretty quickly here. As always, energy is my largest sector weight and also my largest sector of income, followed by real estate, which has started to go down a little bit. I've realized that my energy and real estate is a little bit high, and by a little bit high, I mean I knowingly it's too high. So I've been trying to diversify and get into more of the non-cyclical stuff like consumer, uh, non-cyclical consumer and whatnot. Because really the only thing I have in that is like Altria Group and Philip Morris, and I think that there's probably some other items that I should probably get in there. Materials is kind of low, but this is mostly consistent of my investment in BHP. But anyway, figured I'd show you guys this as well. I kind of was just curious as to how my portfolio is kind of split up. So obviously the 100 or so thousand is split up between these items, whereas my 401k, I don't generally show you guys that because it's kind of just, not really anything that shows dividends at the moment. So it's kind of just a lazy duck. Yes, it has value and whatnot, but you can't really split out the dividends that you get from that because it's all put into some sort of managed mutual fund. So what I generally always talk to you guys about is my IBA, my IRA, my computer shares account, and whatnot. And so that makes up about 60 some percent of my portfolio, 56% of my portfolio. So actually moving on to what I actually made for the third quarter of 2017. So if you look at it from this point, so Q1 I made $922. Q2 I made $1,083. Oh, sorry, that's 2018. This is 2017 here. Sorry about that. Made about $662 in Q1, $817 in Q2, and just over $1,000 in Q3. That was from delayed payments in Q2, some of them going to Q3. And then in Q4, I'm looking at just over $900. So I made this new graph. It's kind of cool. But as you can see, 2018 time frame for Q3 and Q4 is generally pretty flat, probably because the only thing that's different between these two is the reinvested dividends for these months. Obviously, Q2 and Q1 is taking into account the capital that I've invested throughout the year in 2017. So this orange is probably going to change as I continue to invest capital, which it's been a couple months since I put in a decent amount of capital, so that should probably change here pretty soon. But as you guys might be aware, checking out some of my other recent videos, in August, sorry, in July I made 268. Whoops, sorry about that. In July I made about $252, which wasn't that impressive. In August I only made $100, which is definitely not impressive. And then in September, I made $669, which was pretty impressive. Altogether, equaling the $1,023. Of course, I've now started making a little bit of YouTube income, so incorporating that into the results, I ended up getting just over $200 from that. So if you combine everything, it's about $1,200, $1,250 in actual YouTube income. I don't know what I'm doing with that graph, so just ignore that graph there. So pretty nice so far. I'm, like I mentioned earlier in previous videos, I'm expecting to get over $3,600 in passive income in 2017. What my goal originally was for the year was to get it all strictly utilizing dividend income. I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe that I wasn't able to get the investment capital investment that I wanted in order to get this increased dividend. But that being said, get the dividend to 3,600. But that being said, I had a pretty drastic increase with respect to how much I've increased from last year. So if you think about it, in total, last year I made about $2,000 in dividends. This year, just in dividends, I'm about to make $3,400 or so. So that will probably end up being an increase of about 70–71% by the time you factor in a couple reinvestments or whatnot. Maybe it'll stick at 69%, but on a month-to-month basis, that is an increase of about $116. So last year I made close to $168. This year I'll close out month making $284. And of course, you guys probably recognize that next year I'm forecasting to make just close to $350, and that's without any additional invested capital. So potential to get this number into the $400 range by the end of the year. That is technically the goal. Now, if I were to keep this trend upwards and continue this $116 a year in difference, I would definitely be able to get to the $400 mark, especially if you were to incorporate my YouTube income that I get from there. But I'm not necessarily counting on my YouTube income in order to get me over that hump. But that basically is that. Now, looking, I guess, to 4Q, what can I expect in terms of total investments from there? I believe I kind of already touched on it a little bit, but I should expect, close to $900 in total income, mostly finishing out the year with, let's just check it out, figure out what I can expect. So obviously I have my monthly dividend pairs of monthly dividend pairs, Realty Income Corp, Stag, Main Capital. So those won't probably be any different. But big dividend pairs for the rest of the year is my investments in Shell. Wells Fargo is a pretty big chunk of change in December time frame. Hershey, Phillips 66, which always pays in the last month of every quarter. And then I do have a decent Seadrill payment in November time frame. And then a lot of these October payments have already come through with Starwood Property Trust and both my real estate investment trusts that I have in my Roth IRA. So Cone, Cyrus One, which is a data storage real estate investment trust, which has done very well for me. And then WP Carey, both paid out already this quarter, so have those in the bank, which is why they're in yellow. GE, I believe I get paid next week, so I can cross that one off. And then that's basically it. Oh, and also I have a big payment in Verizon coming next month. Goal, so it's actually kind of funny. So my next goal that I have for Verizon is potentially getting it to the point where I am able to pay my phone bill every month. So I'm quite a ways away from that, since the days that I do get, or the months that I do get dividends, I'm still, only 2/3 of a paycheck, or 2/3 of a dividend from just that month. So I pay about $90 a month with my unlimited data plan for Verizon. So I still have quite a ways to invest to get Verizon. But one of the things that I have been contemplating is my my monthly dividend. They're not monthly dividends. My annual dividends that I'm getting from, say, my individual brokerage account is getting into the $2,200 range. And with that being said, that ends up being about $500 every quarter or so, maybe more. And so what I'm kind of contemplating is there's obviously going to be the companies that I want to continually invest in, most likely the monthly dividend companies like my Realty Income Corps, my Stag Industrial. But there's probably some of these other companies like Hershey, maybe, Kinder Morgan, Phillips 66, some of those companies where it might not necessarily make sense for me to continually to reinvest those dividends. So what I might think about doing is pooling all those dividends. Now I know when I get to the $4,000 mark in my individual brokerage account, what I'll probably do is just not reinvest at all. Uh, I'll probably just get all my dividends pooled and then selectively reinvest into whatever is probably cheapest at that point. Um, Obviously, the reason why this is being, although $2,000, $500 a quarter isn't that much, I'm obviously also investing, a couple $100, sometimes $1,000 every month. And so coupled with that, you're looking at, multiple cash infusions of close to between $2,000 to $5,000. So it ends up making a little bit of sense to not necessarily automatically reinvest into something when it's way overpriced. You know what I mean? Take Maine Capital, for instance. I love the company. It's done really well for me so far. I'm up about 34% since I started investing in it. But at the end of the day, $40 is kind of a pricey tag to pay for it. Although I do enjoy probably like a 7% dividend yield at this point. Definitely not complaining with respect to that. But there might be other companies I want to put my money into. Like maybe if Shell dips down a little bit again, purchase that instead of purchasing Maine. So just some ideas I'm throwing around and talking to you guys, rambling on. But always, if you have any comments, like, subscribe, and leave comments down below. I always try to keep up with you guys as soon as I can. Every time I get a comment, I try to be very responsive. And I always, always, always try to learn from you guys because obviously I'm pretty young and I'm very new to this journey, and a lot of you guys may have a lot more experience than I do. So anything you guys have to share with me so I can continue to learn and continue to become a better investor, obviously I very much appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys soon and have a great night. Just